It's finally Friday.
It's Friday.
Thank God it's
Welcome back to the Friday Show, presented this week by the Pennsylvania Horse Breeders Association. Their annual Stallion Season Auction gets underway next week, and it's on for a week. Go to pabred.com to get all the details. But I'm here with bloodstock editor Joe Nevills, who will give you a few of the details right now.
So this Stallion Season Auction, 75 seasons from 75 different stallions are on offer from 5 different states. The Pennsylvania bred program is very good right now, especially if you have a Pennsylvania sired horse. 50% bonus on maiden races for purse, 40% for all other races for Pennsylvania sired horses. If you're Pennsylvania bred and non-Pennsylvania sired, those bonuses are 25% and 20% respectively. So it's worth your time to look at these stallions, especially the Pennsylvania breds, and get in on this program because it's a good one.
Yeah, one thing I learned recently actually is that there are a lot of Kentucky sires siring horses outside of Kentucky, and Pennsylvania is a good example of that. That's a good bonus for breeding, for foaling in Pennsylvania from a Kentucky bred or a mid-Atlantic stallion that might not be standing in Pennsylvania. I'm also joined by Chelsea Hackbarth, Paulick Report news editor. We're going to have some fun today. Are we? Are we going to have fun?
We always have fun, right?
I certainly hope so.
It's the beginning of the year, and it's time for some bold predictions. And I'll go ahead and start out here. And this is pretty bold. Bob Baffert will have a say in this year's Triple Crown.
Jeez. Seriously, right?
I'm only kidding. I'll save mine, but you could say that every year, right? So that's not so bold. Chelsea, what is going to happen in 2021 that no one else sees coming?
Well, I'm not sure no one else sees it coming, but it is my supreme hope that racetrack executives across the country will take a look at the economic indicators published this week and see, oh, look, there were fewer race days and fewer races, and we actually made more money per race day. Let's maybe keep that trend going next year.
Well, and we hope this year we'll have some people on track, betting on track, because the percentage of handle going to purses is lower this year than it was previous year, because an on-track bet is more important for the horseman, and for the track. So let's hope that sometime this year we're going to have many more tracks that allow on-track fans.
Well, heck, right? They're already doing it at Oaklawn. We get to have a couple people at Oaklawn. We'll have some people at Gulfstream for the Pegasus in a couple weeks. It's coming slowly, but it's coming.
I will say the per capita wagering at Oaklawn, I think, is historically one of the lowest in the country. That's because they have a lot of casual fans, which is not a bad thing necessarily. So, Joe, do you have anything you think is going to happen this year?
Believe it or not, I have 5 of them. I have 5 predictions that are going to be shared in the Sunday edition of the PR special. I'm going to give you a taste today. I'm going to give you one of them. And this is where I'm going to call my shot. I'm calling the leading freshman sire of 2021, leading first crop sire 2-year-olds. It's going to be Practical Joke of Ashford Stud. There are 2 paths to the top in the freshman sire race. You can either win by attrition and flood the market like Overanalyze did in 2017 and just put a ton of horses out on the track, get them in the winner's circle, and just pile up the earnings. Or you can get yourself a big star, like Cross Traffic did with Jaywalk. Dialed In had Gunnevera, took him to the top. Nyquist this year had Vquist win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. He finished as leading freshman sire. The really good ones, though, can do both. Like Uncle Mo, he had Nyquist put a ton of foals out on the ground. He still got there. American Pharaoh got a Breeders' Cup winner from his first crop and also had several starters. Here's why I think Practical Joke is going to do this. Ashford Stud always sends an army of mares to their new stallions, and he has 147 juveniles going out to the track this year, 5th most of any North American sire. As a 2-year-old himself, he was a multiple grade 1 winner, and he's by Into Mischief, who he's got the Midas touch right now. Everybody wants in on Into Mischief, and they're going to get their shots. So I'm calling it right now. Come back here on December 31st, 2021, and prove me wrong or prove me right. Practical Joke's going to be your leading freshman sire.
Just out of curiosity, did you make any predictions on the 2020 leading freshman sire?
No, I did not.
Who would you have picked?
You know, I probably would have gone with Frosted. I was a really big fan of his from the beginning. His are a little later to develop, but he came on really strong at the end. Nyquist certainly would have been up there. He matured really well once he settled in at stud for a while, so I'm really happy to see how he did there. Probably one of those two. Those two were, Darley did really well this year.
I got to say my pick for a first crop sire that I actually supported at the sales was Daredevil. And he did not do it with that first crop. But man, that second crop, they brought him all the way back from Turkey. So I was right. Delayed right, but still right.
Hey, take the wins when you can get them.
All right. Well, my prediction for 2021 is that out west, and I won't say what tracks, but I think we're going to see some ownership changes in racetracks. What the hell? I'll say what track. I think Turf Paradise could be changing hands before the end of this year. It's been owned by Jerry Sims for a long time. It's getting increasingly volatile with Jerry Sims and the Horsemen, the Racing Commission. There's been problems in terms of simulcasting into the OTBs from the Monarch tracks, which are Stronach Group tracks. I can't imagine that Jerry Sims is having a lot of fun owning Turf Paradise these days. They forgot to water the turf course this summer, or they didn't water it during the summer and fall. Now they're off the turf for a couple of years ago. I mean, the name of the track is Turf Paradise, and they're not running on turf. I don't get it.
Well,
so my prediction.
In fairness, Turfway Park doesn't have a turf course either.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not sure what to say about that one, Joe. I don't know.
Greg, who do you see as the prospective buyers for a Turf Paradise type track?
Well,
let me rephrase that. Who do you hope would buy Turf Paradise?
Well, I think the Stronach Group is the largest company in this country that's interested in horse racing. CDI has tracks. Penn National has a lot of tracks. Boyd Gaming has a lot of tracks. But their focus is really more on gaming. The Stronach Group they do have Gulfstream Park, which has a casino, but their focus has really been on racing, even at Gulfstream Park, and despite the fact there's a casino there. So they're the largest racetrack operator that has an interest in horse racing. Churchill Downs obviously has an interest in the Kentucky Derby, but we know what they did with Calder. We know what they did with Hollywood Park. They sold it years ago to a land development company. And we don't know if this is going to be the last year at Arlington and in Chicago, but it doesn't look good. So if there is a perfect match between buyer and seller, I would say it's Jerry Sims and the Stronach Group. But that's just speculation. That's based on the fact that it's a company that likes racing. All right. Well, this year for the Friday show, we're going to introduce a new segment called The Star of the Week. And I'm here with Natalie Voss, editor-in-chief of the Paulick Report. And usually it's going to be somebody we can't talk to that's the star of the week because it's likely going to be a horse. But I'm really pleased to say that the star of the week, and actually it should be the star of the year, is Natalie Voss. Natalie won her second and third Eclipse Awards. It was announced this week for writing, outstanding writing. And as far as I know, this has only been done once before, where one writer swept both writing categories for the Eclipse Awards. And that was a dear old friend of mine, the late Bill Knack. Natalie, to be mentioned in the same paragraph with Bill Knack is amazing. And the work that you've done for the Paulick Report is amazing. And I'm just really, really thrilled for you and proud to be associated with you that you are now a 3-time Eclipse Award winner.
Yeah, I still kind of can't believe it. And I've known for a few days now. I'm still not totally sure that I'm not just sort of dreaming all of this up, but here we are. I guess it's real.
Well, let's talk about the subject matter. Your first Eclipse Award was about jockey concussions. And at the time, it was something that wasn't really talked about a lot. And to me, the best reward for a journalist is to write something that makes a positive difference. And after that story appeared, there was a lot more talk, a lot more protocols that went into place at racetracks across the country that, and it's a better, safer environment for jockeys today than it was before you wrote that story. So congratulations on that. The 2 awards you won this year we're both for aftercare. And I know that's something that is a passion of yours because you just recently acquired a horse a thoroughbred off the racetrack. So not that you're writing to accomplish something, but what do you hope comes out of the fact that you won both of these awards for aftercare stories? One was a series, and one was an unbelievable story about a horse that was reunited with someone that had it as a I think as a 2-year-old, right?
Yeah, yearling and 2-year-old. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm hopeful that, you know, seeing aftercare in the spotlight and the Eclipse Awards, which aftercare topics have been, you know, featured as Eclipse Award winning media entries before, but to see both of them in the writing category both be related to that, I'm hoping it sort of helps people appreciate better just how deep those stories can be, how beautiful the feature type stories can be, and how much complexity there is on the news enterprise side. The multi-part series that won the news enterprise category was really designed to look at what we're doing well and where we can still improve with thoroughbred aftercare. And, you know, we've come such a long way in that area of the sport. And I'm really delighted that it's changed as much as it has in the time that I've been in the business. But I think it would be a mistake to assume that everything's taken care of. This is still an important issue. It's still a problem that we should all take very seriously because we're all here for the horses. So I'm hoping that really comes through.
Yeah, I know that you wrote a commentary recently about how little is going into aftercare programs. And, you know, it's not mission accomplished. The fact that the TAA, the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, was formed, that they have some funding is a great thing, but we still have a long way to go. And I think your series on aftercare was an important education for the industry. I think we want this industry to thrive, and we're under the glare of the public more than ever. And aftercare is one of the most important issues I think that we see. So one of our commenters made a nice note about your awards and wondered, what are you going to do for an encore in 2021? And I suggested we buy you a camera so you can maybe win an Eclipse Award for photography. What do you want to see happen? What do you want to see happen this year? We did a segment with Joe Nevills and Chelsea Hackbarth about predictions. What's your prediction for 2021?
Oh gosh, I think the only thing that we learned from 2020 is that you have no idea what's coming. So it's not a very insightful prediction, but I think that you know, we're just going to try to get through the year as a country and as a sport at this point. I am interested. I guess my one prediction would be, I'm curious to see sort of how the sport and the industry come to accept the federal legislation that was just signed, or federal law now that was just signed recently. So I guess I would predict that maybe not all of the disagreements over that are totally settled yet. Not all of the questions are totally settled yet. I think that we'll continue to see that be a topic in the news. Not very a bold prediction, really, but I think it's one of the few safe bets for 2021 at this point.
Yeah, I think that we're going to start seeing things happening pretty quickly, I think, in terms of the board, the two committees, because they've got to get moving. There's a lot they're going to have to do over the next 6 months. So we will see on that. The other prediction that I think is pretty safe is that we'll be back next week with another edition of the Friday Show that will be sponsored by the Pennsylvania Horse Breeders Association. Their Stallion Season Auction gets underway next week. Go to pabred.com to get more information on that. And we'll see you next week.